Welcome to Sportsbook Review's weekly feature, Games Too Risky to Bet. I'm Joe Duffy of OffshoreInsiders.com, and along with Troy West of TroyWins.com, we each single out a game we think is too risky to bet. The public should avoid this. Maybe it's because of conflicting information, maybe it's because of uncertainty, and in most cases, a little bit of a combination of both. And before I do get to Troy, may I remind you, please like these videos. Make sure you subscribe to Sportsbook Review's YouTube page. Also, join me every Sunday on Sportsbook Review's Facebook Live, where I do the NFL Bettors Tailgate Party. But if you have any comments, feel free to comment on this, and Troy or I will get back to you on that. Well, Troy West of TroyWins.com, what game do you think is too risky to bet this week?
Yeah, Joe, I'm going to the NFL, and I'm looking at the New Orleans Saints at home, -5, 5.5 against the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta yesterday really didn't pass the eye test. They get a 24-21 win in which Tampa Bay went down the field and had a game-tying field goal that was wide right. But, Atlanta has won 4 in a row. They're very much in the playoff race. They control their own destiny. They're playing much better football. Let's remember they did beat the Saints at home just 2 short weeks ago. Now they're in New Orleans. New Orleans has been kind of bipolar as well over their last few games. They did not have a very impressive victory against the Jets. Was that a potential look-ahead game this week to Atlanta? Both teams playing, to me, mediocre football. They've been up and down all throughout the course of the year. New Orleans defense started out the season. A lot of people were saying this is one of the best defenses in the NFL. Since then, they've tailed off. Atlanta, they're going to have a short week this week. Both teams fighting for their playoff lives. I just think there's so much going on in this football game, and I feel like both teams are kind of mirrors of each other. Part of me would be, wanting to take the 5.5 points and riding a team like Atlanta that's won 4 in a row. But then you've got the revenge factor with New Orleans. They just lost to this team, like I said, 2 short weeks ago. A lot of conflicting things going on here, Joe. And so for me, it's just a game too risky to bet. I'm going to sit back and watch this one and see what goes on. It's going to be a great football game, but for me, it's too risky to bet.
Yeah, I agree with it, Troy. That's one of those where I think it'll be better to be a fan than a bettor. The game that I singled out, Texas Tech versus South Florida in the Birmingham Bowl. Look, we all agree, I think every single bettor will agree that one of the toughest parts about handicapping these so-called minor bowls is how a team's mindset's going to be. And I'm not sure there's really a team tougher to get a feel on how they're going to approach this than South Florida. Remember at the beginning of the year, they were the fly in the ointment team. A lot of people thought they could be the non-Power 6 team that could run the table and maybe make things interesting for the bowl selection committee. Instead, they lost 2 games, kind of like Houston last year, and they come in really in a consolation bowl when they were the heavy favorites to at the very least be the non-Power 5 team that would make a New Year's Day bowl. But conversely, look, still, anytime you have a non-Power 5 team against a Power 5 team, you wouldn't think motivation would be the problem, but this is quite possibly the exception to the rule. Also, keep in mind that the AAC, 3-11 in games that are expected to be pretty close. That is 4.5 points of a pick'em. That would favor Texas Tech. USF has a little bit of a regional advantage here. They're only traveling 438 miles to 866 for Texas Tech. So, yeah, even though part of me says to go with Texas Tech, I still think South Florida, they're a talented team. They underachieved a little bit this year, and they could kind of rally around and pull off a big statement victory. So as much because of South Florida as it is Texas Tech, but again, you got a 500 team that they're playing, Texas Tech. Look, the only reason they're in the bowl is because there are so many bowl games. Just too much uncertainty here. I say that Texas Tech and South Florida, too risky to bet. Well, make sure you join us next week. Troy West of TroyWins.com. He has his premium plays there. Me, Joe Duffy of OffshoreInsiders.com. I have my premium plays there. And we will be here next week discussing games too risky to bet.
Hello, SBR YouTube followers. I am JoJo, and before you go, I want to let you know about our new college football contest. As we all know, bowl season is right around the corner. And to add to that excitement, we are announcing our 15K College Bowl Handicapping Showdown. We are going to be awarding amazing prizes, and members from all over the world can join in on the fun. Join our forum, Follow us on social media and remember to share and like this video. I've been your host Jojo, and until next time, thanks for watching.